Greetings Spartan and welcome back to the UNSC Infinity War Game Simulation Training Program. Well, it seems that we have covered all of these standard issue weapons that you will encounter within the simulator, so I guess that means that it's time to move on to some more specialized weaponry, and we will begin with the SAW. The M739 light machine gun, more commonly referred to as the SAW, or squad automatic weapon, is the UNSC's primary light support weapon. While it was present during the Human Covenant War, it has become a much more common weapon in the days since the war has ended. A SAW is meant to provide one member of a squad with a portable source of heavy automatic firepower to suppress enemies. These weapons are generally modified versions of the standard issue assault rifles, and they are usually outfitted with heavier barrels, increased magazine capacity, and a bipod. However, some weapons are designed from the ground up to specifically fill this role. The M739 is one such weapon. At 116.4 centimeters long and weighing 9.6 kilograms, it is a large but relatively light firearm. The light weight eases the burden of soldiers in the field, giving them greater maneuverability and allowing them to keep pace with their squad mates. It essentially grants soldiers and Spartans the power of a turret with the mobility of an assault rifle. The M739 fires 7.62 by 51mm full metal jacket armor-piercing rounds from a 72-round drum magazine at a rate of 1,000 rounds per minute. The drum magazine is large and thus requires 3.25 seconds to reload. The SAW can deplete the shields of a Spartan 4 with 10 successive rounds. Once their shields are depleted, only 6 rounds are needed to finish them off. And when combined with a melee attack, 6 rounds will kill a fully shielded opponent. As you can see, the SAW has the same damage profile as the MA5D assault rifle, but with a vastly superior rate of fire. This rate of fire does come with more pronounced recoil, but for all intents and purposes, the SAW is essentially an oversized assault rifle, and it should be treated as such. Try not to approach combat head-on. You want to flank and surprise enemies as often as possible. Try using unorthodox routes or guard a choke point where your prey will have no place to maneuver. If you are alone, then you should be hesitant about engaging more than one enemy at a time unless they are unaware of your presence. Now, while it's true that the SAW is devastating in close quarters battle, without support or the element of surprise, it may still be a difficult encounter to overcome. You must understand that the SAW seems more powerful than it really is. When Spartans obtain this weapon, they tend to become overzealous and dive headfirst into combat, only to step on a grenade or get gunned down from range. Just as with the assault rifle, you want to force enemies to come into your range and play by your rules. If you try bringing the fight to their doorstep, chances are that they will be more than ready for you. Now, once the enemy is in your grasp, simply pin the trigger and watch them drop. The SAW does have a substantial amount of recoil, but it's nothing that you shouldn't be able to compensate for. I mean, you are a Spartan after all. If you do find that your enemy is slightly out of your reach, you can burst fire the SAW with a surprising degree of effectiveness. But don't try to do this on a fully shielded opponent, especially if they're carrying a ranged weapon. Only try to strike ranged enemies when they are either weakened or distracted by a teammate. The SAW is one of the most fearsome weapons on the battlefield. The sound of it firing 1,000 rounds per minute is both frightening and empowering. And while it can deal immense damage at close range, it has clear limitations that you should be aware of when you take it into combat. But once you learn your limits and play your enemies directly into your hand, you will learn just how quickly the SAW cuts down the competition. Thank you for watching this episode of my Halo 4 weapon guides. If you enjoyed it, have a look at my other videos and be sure to stay tuned for more to come. As always, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. My name is Matt and I will see you next time.